Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
You wake up every morning and you decide your behavior is going to hinge on Trump?
Tell me more about the dancing Israelis and building 7 and how the Jews all knew about 9/11 and they all want us to go to war in the Middle East.
So guys, liberal commentator and streamer Destiny is perhaps one of the most controversial in his space, if you will. Now, I didn't initially hear about him because of his politics. It was more so the fact that he was in an open relationship with his then partner, Melina.
One interesting aspect of your relationship is you're in an open relationship. Mm-hmm. What is an open relationship, generally speaking? That means you have one main partner?
Non-monogamous relationship. Like you're somehow allowed, like in different ways, you can see other people sexually. The only relationships I've ever done has been open relationships since I was like in high school. Because I didn't really understand, like, why wouldn't you be able to, like, do other things with other people, but then just, like, have your main partner, basically?
Oh, gee, I don't know, Melina. Maybe because relationships create intimacy and polygamy does the exact opposite? Riddle me that. And spoiler alert, in case you've just been living under a rock, she ended up leaving Destiny for another man. I know. Shocker. Now, I will say that even though Destiny would sometimes look like he was dying inside when his wife would flirt with other men in front of him, and as a God-fearing man, I could never fathom that kind of cuck stuff, in a weird way, I did respect how willing he was to defend that lifestyle.
I can agree that the longer you're with somebody, the better sex gets, so why is she not enough?
It's kind of like asking, it's kind of like if you've got like a close friend, but then you've got other friends, like, well, why is that one friend not enough? Yeah. Because in life, sometimes variety is fun. Sometimes I want to be with a girl that's Hispanic or Asian. Sometimes I want to be with somebody that is...
Marriage
is something
is
that's
not a friendship.
I say marriage was a friendship, but marriage to me isn't just about my going in her vagina. There's a lot of aspects to my marriage that I share with my wife that's really unique to my wife that I don't share with other people. My is just not one of those things. There are some things that are fun to explore sexually with other people that not everybody might like. There might be some people that are into certain things that like I'm not into that she gets another guy. There might be some girls that are into certain things that they're into that she's not into. Like, so being able to explore sex with other people is just a fun thing. If you're both okay with it, then yeah.
And I also respected the fact that he'd be willing to engage in respectful, good faith dialogue with conservatives. But eventually the mask slipped and it started to seem less and less like good faith. As an example, when he went to debate Owen Schroyer.
Yep. A real class act.
I mean, not shaking someone's hand is sportsmanship 101. And maybe you could argue he was having a bad day and that was a one-off, but then it got worse. Case in point, when Trump almost got assassinated and someone at the rally lost their life. And Destiny commented,
Fight a guy, Trump, the people that support him, just in case you're confused or it seems like if one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%.
And his justification, well, it's the conservatives' fault. They started this, blah, blah, blah.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck.
And he doubled down on it when confronted by Piers Morgan.
I mean, I've got to say, I just found that repulsive, Destiny.
There is no room. There is no room for the hand-wringing, and I will not participate in this anymore.
Oh, it's not hand-wringing.
The hand-wringing. No,
it
absolutely is.
No, but Destiny, let me explain to you.
Where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theory.
I'm not a conservative.
They can have any plot. They can do anything, and then liberals are supposed to sit and be like, oh my God, it's so tragic.
Let me explain my position, because I'm not a conservative. You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing. You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost gleeful that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead, that he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was President of the United States until recently for 4 years and maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry, that makes you, frankly, despicable. Why should anybody on the right listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave? You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting, inhumane behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, you have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States. I'm not here to tone police over their empathy.
80 million people voted for Donald Trump last time around.
That's great. 80 million people voted for a guy that tried to insurrect the government, and it looks like they might try to do it again. I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to say. These are the facts on the ground. The idea that
so you don't like attacks on democracy. So presumably you would unreservedly condemn the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. presumably
that
you will
anybody
take
should
this
be trying
opportunity,
to-
given you
I
are
don't think
so
anybody-
determined to protect the integrity of democracy, you would find it absolutely outrageous that someone has tried to assassinate a president, right?
If the other conservatives on this show want to say that it was absolutely outrageous
I'm
that Donald
asking
Trump
you.
attempted to coup the government,
I'm asking
then,
you.
then maybe I would. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness or show sympathy to conservatives.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see,
Not
so
even.
why the hell,
Absolutely
frankly,
not.
Destiny,
Absolutely not.
why the
Absolutely
hell should we listen to a
Absolutely not.
word you have to say?
Wait,
Okay, so this is the exact bad faith that Destiny did a really good job of covering up. Because he knew good and well that his issue was MAGA, in his eyes, doesn't show enough sympathy, which is why he wouldn't show the least bit of magnanimity towards someone who died just because he was attending a Trump rally. But he deflects, saying it's not about that. It's about the fact that the people who support Donald Trump are supporting someone who wanted to overthrow democracy. Which, okay, you can feel however you want about the J6 and whether it was an insurrection, conversation for a different time. But you don't know that's why the guy who got shot was a Trump supporter. You know absolutely nothing about him. But you're lumping him into the same bucket as everyone, and are essentially saying, if you support Trump, I really don't care about you. Which I've said it before and I'll say it again, that you don't owe anybody wells of empathy, but the least you ought to do, especially if you feel the other party isn't doing enough of, is condemning political violence, whoever it's about. But no, Destiny wouldn't do that when Donald Trump was close to getting killed. And when Charlie Kirk was murdered in an act of political violence, Destiny seemed to imply that it was a good thing.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay, I'm done today. I don't give a f.
Yeah, I find it really funny how he says conservatives need to turn down the temperature, yet hopes they go around afraid. If you promote a culture where the other side fears their voice is going to be suppressed, should you really be surprised when they retaliate with extreme rhetoric? Either Destiny has some major cognitive dissonance, or he gets off on sowing divide. Probably a combination of both. Well, he took some major L's this week because first he was on Piers Morgan again and proved how much of a heartless piece of crap he was.
You've been quite active on social media since Charlie Kirk's death. When Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him, brackets, crying face emojis. You posted on X, buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday, ending every conservative debate call out I'd do in 2026 with don't dodge, bro. That's not what Charlie would have wanted. I mean, do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term. 7 out of 10 of the largest protests in American history have happened under Donald Trump. All of the recent political violence that's happened in this country has been conservative.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family who was a 22-year-old
A guy
white
described,
dude.
to be clear, the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry, excuse me, when?
Yesterday, he said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know. I do know the very reasonable sounding. You may not want to hear it, Destiny, but the reality is the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's just not true.
Let me just ask you.
There's no way to deal with it.
Okay, you're accusing the governor of lying.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But
sure.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something. Why do you think that mocking the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk, when she posts an image of her at the coffin side, why do you think that constitutes turning down the temperature?
You can't turn down the temperature on your own. The president of the United
You
States
inflame
is not
the temperature.
able
You're
to,
mocking
no,
his
it's
widow.
already inflamed.
You're
What are you
mocking his
talking
widow.
about? We've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you mock his widow?
Online because
Why did you mock his widow?
Because she's being used as a political weapon right now
Wow.
for conservatives to continue. What do you mean, wow? She's literally doing
Her husband just got
ads
murdered.
on email. Yeah, she's using it to drive up recruitment for
And
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You won't
The
condemn
president
it.
can't even tell his side
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump that you
are
cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such
because
a
you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys
Donald
sit here
Trump
and
to say
make money
something.
off.
Okay, firstly, I also have my doubts that Kash Patel is telling us everything we need to know about Charlie Kirk's killer. There are a few things that just don't add up for me. But the thing is, his murder should be condemned either way, and the fact that Destiny won't do it until Donald Trump does shows just how performative he is. And the fact that Charlie Kirk's wife is using his death to further the Turning Point movement shouldn't be shamed. She's a grieving widow. Show some freaking charity. Such a piece of crap. And he even gets confronted by one of his own, Ana Kasparian.
Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why
tell
would you
his side
expect
to
anybody,
calm down?
Destiny?
You
What-
can't answer that. Can you answer that question?
Why do you
can't
think-
Trump say that?
why do you
Why is
think-
your
Trump say
behavior
that? I feel
contingent
like
on Donald
I'm
Trump?
insane right now.
Why
do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me
Why
ask
is
a
that?
question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the opposing
Destiny,
political party.
Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not turn.
rhetoric.
No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't been
been
broken. I
destroyed
actually care
because
about the
people bully
country
you on
and want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
Are you asking
really?
me for the pragmatic political outcome, or are you
behavior?
asking
Hold
me
on.
for-
Let me. Hey,
You
how
asked me a
about
question,
take it
so I
easy
didn't
on
know
the
it was rhetorical.
Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me answer the question that Piers asked me.
You must have been really bullied today. I guess.
Yep, there it is, the ad hominems. And saying her brain has been broken. Why? Because she has the guts to talk to conservatives and because she's been willing to call out bad actors on the left. Somehow she's turned far right or something. It's ridiculous. And I like that quip that Anna said, chill out on the Adderall. That was a good one. But if anything, Ana is proving that even though she's opinionated, her brain is far from broken. The fact that while she doesn't like that Donald Trump hasn't toned down the rhetoric, yet she'll continue to live her life and conduct herself trying to be the change she wants to see makes her more patriotic and a representation of this country, at least more so than Destiny could ever be.
Let Anna speak, please.
My behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow with 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a
judge
simple thing.
others
If you're
as
going to
being hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane. She's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny,
TP USA ads to 1 or 2 days after.
If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with, that you chose to raise children with, a person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved away
And when
from
something
identifying as a
you got bullied online. It's so funny. It's so funny that you just
so
said that
embarrassing
you don't
on the
think about
left.
how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's
No,
grieving,
I understood
then you tell that
what
person,
the flaws
you
on
tell
the
that
left
person,
happen
hey,
to be. The
maybe you
weakness
should
in their
step back for a
arguments.
couple of
No,
weeks.
no, it's
Maybe
not
you should
about
take
the
some
way
time
I
to
get
grieve.
treated.
You don't
I
say,
get
hey,
treated
let's
like
throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of the
you and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's unhinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire, the
we're
president
talking to a
calling
guy
for
who said
civil
he'd be
war.
okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination
And
attempt
we're talking
happened.
to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck and had
Okay.
nothing bad to say whatsoever. I know where your bread is buttered. I know where
And
you're
it was
making your money
great.
from.
I had
Okay, that's
awesome
great.
conversations.
And you
I
do
don't
with the
regret it
person-
at
I know,
all.
that's great.
I also had a
And keep up with the
conversation
personal
with Jack
attacks 'cause you're
Posobiec
so
on her
brain
take. It was
broken.
awesome.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Jack,
what
the guy over there that
democracy
gets
is about.
paid by
Having
Russia
an
that lies
exchange of
about everything that
ideas.
comes- What?
You're
They watch a lot of
embarrassing,
old
Destiny.
episodes of
You're
the
so
JFK
embarrassing. You make the
assassination,
left
bro.
look so bad, and you don't even realize it. You are
My God.
seriously so embarrassing.
Okay, yeah.
God.
You can talk to your best friend.
You really
Glenn
are.
Beck about
I mean,
it
like,
later,
you-
and have
do you
another
feel-
30-minute conversation about it, Anna.
Maybe I
talk more about
will.
how
Maybe
the
I will talk to
mean
Glenn
wokies
Beck about
on
it.
Twitter
Oh, is
are
that
bullying you about
ooh?
it.
Is that
Yeah.
naughty? Is it
How
naughty
many
to have a
conversations have you?
Anna,
How many
finish
more
your point.
lawsuits are you
Chicken
going
and
to face
waffles
from
with
women
Nick
that you
Fuentes?
allegedly secretly
Like, what do you
recorded
mean?
during intimate moments? Destiny, I can't believe anyone
are you
takes you
se- are you
seriously.
really?
You're
You wanna
disgusting.
pull out Twitter?
You're
You wanna pull out
embarrassing,
Twitter rumors
and
now?
you
Yeah,
should be
keep going,
shunned
Anna.
from
Yep.
public life with
Keep
your
playing it.
disgusting
My God,
treatment
I can't
of all
believe you
sorts
got
of
bullied
people,
so hard
including
on
young
Twitter. This is what you
left-wing
become.
girls, women
You're turning
that you
more
victimized
blonde right now
allegedly.
in the
Oh yeah, just in case y'all didn't know, Destiny was recently sued for revenge porn by streamer Pixie, who alleges that he shared intimate images of her without her consent. And one of the people he was alleged to have shown them to was Rose, who was allegedly 17 in 2022 when this supposedly happened. And screenshots indicate back in 2022 that he knew she was underage. Now, I'm not going to insinuate that Destiny is a pedo, especially if I don't have the proof, and he's entitled to his day in court, but with his history of being weird sexually, and now his spiteful tone towards those he disagrees with, I wouldn't quite put it past him, at least with the revenge porn stuff. Again though, to protect myself, I'm saying allegedly. But the point is that I don't think he's in any place to police morality.
shades away from
You're
being a Fox News
embarrassing.
host, Anna.
You
Keep
embarrass
going.
the left.
You gotta
You're the
go
type
get
of
go get
person
some
who
lip
pushes
filler there.
people
You
away
gotta
from
do-
the
you're
left.
so-
There's no morality with you. There's no grounding
Absolutely
values.
not.
There's no
Of course
principles.
not, yeah.
All you want is attention, 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 attention. That's all you
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah, that, of
That's
course.
all
Well,
you
you
want.
and Jake talking
Endless
about
attention.
9/11 was
Say
caused by the
disgusting,
Jews, and you have
provocative
another
garbage.
friendly-
Having a debate or dialogue doesn't automatically mean that you agree with everything they have to say. It means you're coming
No, it's
together
when you sit down and you
you're
agree with
exchanging
everything they have
ideas
to say.
and
Then you agree with
debating
everything they
them.
have to say.
No, I don't agree with everything they have to say.
do.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, you do.
I don't
Of course
agree with
you do. What
everything
do
they
you
have to
mean?
say. I'm
When
an
you
adult.
sit down and all
I can
of your
sit down and have a
criticisms are
mature
for the
debate
left,
or
and you have no
conversation.
disagreements about anything on the right, yeah, that's called
I do have
agreement, is usually what
criticisms
we
for the
call it.
left. I have tons of criticisms for the right. Tons of criticisms. I'm obviously
they don't seem to come out
pro-choice,
much
for
when you're
instance.
talking to
I
your
obviously have a
conservative
huge
friends. Oh, the big
problem
guns, yeah.
with the unending, unmitigated support for Israel, regardless of the genocide they're engaging in. I have all sorts of disagreements with the right. That doesn't mean I'm going to dehumanize them and cheer on the slaughter of my fellow Americans because we have disagreements on politics.
And
Dude,
you
you
too,
have
because the
like
conservatives want you to be
TDS,
focused
like
on, you know?
you are like the prototype
TDS,
of TDS.
yeah, there it
It's
comes, yeah.
unbelievable.
The
You wake
TDS,
up every
yes.
morning and you decide your
Yes,
behavior is going
true.
to hinge on Trump.
Tell me
Well,
more about
who
the
are you as
dancing
an individual?
Israelis and
God,
Building
have
7
a little bit
and
of
how the
humanity.
Jews all knew about 9/11
You're a
and they all want us to go to war
You're
in the Middle
a
East. Yeah, of course.
sociopath.
And sociopath would be understating it, because he has actually talked about having people killed.
So you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. I had fucking streets mapped out, and you have no idea. That's when
Now that was from 2011, and he was referring to this 19-year-old aka DDoS kid, who through denial of service was messing with Destiny's stream. And after Destiny contacted DDoS kid's father, he stopped. Now that'd be annoying for sure, and contacting the kid's parents, I get. But I don't understand why he was able to get away with those threats, as well as the pattern of calling for violence against people in general for so many years. And it's funny he says capitalism was the only thing preventing him from not doing it, as after the Piers Morgan exchange, his YouTube memberships have recently been paused, and he admitted that he was demonetized.
Oh, okay. So I got a random email, I think 2 days ago, saying that my YouTube channel, they reviewed it and they said that it was not on the safety creator guidelines for the whole channel. I don't know what that means. I've never gotten an email like that before. So they said that it's ineligible for monetization and I can try to reapply in 90 days. I don't know what that means. I don't know if we can. We recently reviewed your channel and found it is in violation of our creator responsibility guidelines. I don't even know. And they didn't like list a particular video or anything. I feel like my YouTube is going to get permaban soon because I got like broad demonetized yesterday. I mean, if Kimmel is getting canceled from ABC, I don't know.
Now, him making the comparison to Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation is wild, because while I personally do feel that Jimmy Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's death were not grounds to be taken off the air, feel free to change my mind on that. Destiny has for years been talking about and justifying violence against people that he doesn't like. With the platform that he has, he should understand the responsibility he also has, but he clearly doesn't understand what personal responsibility is, as he loves blaming conservatives for everything. But for this, he has no one to blame but himself. But guys, I want to thank you all for watching this video, and if you appreciated my commentary, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned your subscription. Here's some more videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.